Hey, come over here. I have something to show you. Gray. The color of Gregorian chants and old nickels. Of standing by the restless sea, catching seagulls in your tangled hair. Of tiny water worlds in rain puddles. I think of Alberto Giacometti's portrait of his brother Diego from 1959, and Ang's Odalisque of 1814. One way to make gray is to mix all of the primary and complementary colors together. Or you can mix ivory black and titanium white, slightly warmer in its tint. Or Mars black and titanium white, slightly cooler. Cooler still is Payne's gray and white. My teacher liked to make gray from quinacridone red and phthalo green, tinted with white, which yields a beautifully spacious gray. Sorry, I couldn't resist. In this painting, I added burnt umber to my gray to get this stone wall effect, which fades into the cool green on the left and perfectly sets up the purple lines of the tree branches, which do their work between the cracks. Every year, I reread E.H. Gombrich's The Story of Art, which begins with one of my favorite lines. There really is no such thing as art. There are only artists. Emerson said something similar. There is properly no history, only biography. Gray asks us one question. Where do you come from? Let us stare at you. Tell us everything and don't leave anything out. Gray is a great place to start because it is all color and no color, all places and no place. Gray lets everything else glow. I hate Pablo Picasso. Now, before you lock me in a porta potty, light it on fire, and kick it down a hill, listen a little further. Of course, my statement is silly and provocative, but as Otto Peterson of the comedy team Otto and George said, I exaggerate to clarify. The reason that I despise the paintings of Picasso are because I didn't paint them first. I feel the same about any painter whose work I cherish, from William Hogarth to Paula Modersohn-Becker. This isn't a matter of envy, but survival. To be a painter, you must do two things: look a lot and paint a lot. There are no shortcuts that I'm aware of, sorry. By looking, I mean standing in front of a painting in the flesh. Nothing helps you locate yourself in the world than that meeting of skins, the skin of the viewer to the skin of the paint. And if you don't have access to great paintings in museums, that's okay. Every painting is a teacher. Sometimes a lousy painting will reveal more than a great one. I'm paraphrasing Alfred Hitchcock, who said, when you're making a film, don't look at great films and say, I want to do that. Look at bad films and say, I don't want to do that. When starting out, do what you think people will hate, because there's already someone doing what they love. If you love the Beatles, then don't be in a rock and roll band. Find a place in art where you don't see what you want to see, and stay there. Time determines quality, not the market. Cultural prophecy is a fool's game. Whenever a critic anoints the next contemporary master, look for the exit. It's pointless to try to paint like Philip Guston, because he already did it better. Walt Whitman was inspired by Shakespeare, but his best works are, in part, an effort to evade that influence. Creativity doesn't come by emulating great artists. It comes by working adjacent to them. This is your shadow potential. Lucidity comes through aversion, not attraction. So pay attention, because creativity usually comes at you from the sides, not the front. If you only seek inspiration, then you'll miss the stuff in your periphery, and that could change everything by keeping you at odds with what you love. Affection is seductive and clouds our judgment. Dislike clarifies and cuts to purposeful execution. In short, be the most like yourself. Painting is a vehicle for truth and beauty, but an experienced painter doesn't aim for such things. If your intention is to create beauty, then you'll probably only end up with attractiveness. Likewise, if your intention is to reject beauty, then you're still fucked. Just like a door is still a barrier no matter which side you stand on. I replaced trying to create beauty with pride and craftsmanship long, long ago. For beauty lies not in the making, but in it having been made. Learn your materials. If it looks good, it is good. Give up on amateur words like inspiration and originality, because they are unreliable. The only thing you can rely on is a work schedule. Day after day, I show up and hack away at the gigantic, slow-moving iceberg in my studio. Every now and then, a piece breaks off, and I get a painting. This isn't luck, but stubborn persistence. In December of 2017, I was contacted by the office of President Glenn McConnell of the College of Charleston, my alma mater, asking if I would deliver the 2018 Commencement Address and receive an honorary doctorate degree. Wow. I was humbled and honored to accept. So right away, friends and family started sending me commencement addresses by major figures like Bill Gates and Oprah Winfrey. But I didn't listen to a single one. I had to start from scratch. Since most of my best thinking is done in the wee hours of the morning, I keep a pad and pencil on my bedside table. Most of it looks like Klingon, but every now and then, an idea made itself apparent. And then I began to write. So I went to Penguin House, not the publisher, but the actual Penguin House at the Central Park Zoo. I do a lot of writing there because it's cold, damp, and smells like penguin ass, which keeps me succinct. My first draft was 20 minutes long, twice what it needed to be. So, as William Faulkner said, you must kill all your darlings. So then I decimated my speech like an Italian air show and got it down to 9 minutes. Because being a working painter includes public speaking, here are some tips. When preparing a speech, let everything spill out and then fix it later. Speak from your heart. Practice your speech standing up and reciting out loud over and over again. Feeling the words form in your mouth and their vibration in your jaws helps streamline your message. I practiced by standing at one end of my studio and reciting the entire speech over and over again. I did this wearing a bathrobe and pillowcase on my head to get used to the cap and gown. I even turned up the heat because Charleston, South Carolina in May is hotter than a jalapeno's armpit. So, with my speech memorized, haircut, and suit pressed, it was time to go to Charleston. There is no campus in America more beautiful than that of my beloved College of Charleston. As always, the college took excellent care of me and my family. Commencement takes place in the cistern yard at the base of the campus's oldest building, Randolph Hall, under a canopy of ancient moss-draped live oaks. It was a day for looking up to my deceased parents and down to my family. All was right in the world. As for the ceremony, well, I'm speechless. And then President McConnell said, "The lectern is yours, Dr. Rutenberg." And 4,000 people fell silent as I finished what began in a penguin house in Central Park Zoo, 765 miles north. The lectern was angled as such that I could see the School of the Arts building framed through the trees across St. Philip Street. Only one window was visible. It was the fourth floor office of my mentor, the late British painter Michael Tyzack, who died of cancer in 2007. Oh, how Michael would have loved this. After my speech, as I shook the hands of 1,200 dewy-eyed graduates, I kept glancing up at that dark window, and I swear I heard the faint sounds of All Things Considered coming from a tiny radio in Tyzack's office. The late afternoon sun making light prints across the floor, and Michael standing at the window, smiling. President McConnell, Board of Trustees, faculty, parents, and class of 2018, I'm honored to be your commencement speaker today, and I'm humbled to receive this degree. Thank you. I have to say, we look pretty snazzy in these robes. Normally, if you're wearing a robe at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you've had tequila. Okay. But today is not normal. Today is special. 31 years ago, way back when Pluto was still a planet, before many of you were born, I walked across this very stage as a proud College of Charleston graduate. I was born and went to high school in Myrtle Beach and was an average student. My guidance counselor explained to me that you don't spell resume with a Y at the end, and asked me to write down my number one college choice on a piece of paper. I wrote 3 words: College of Charleston. He chuckled and said, "Don't bother. You don't have a chance." And here we are. Thank you for taking a chance on me. In the late 1950s, the Danish astrophysicist Niels Bohr was allegedly asked to come out of retirement and tour the country, speaking at college campuses about quantum mechanics. And at first, he resisted, but they sweetened the offer. They offered him a Lincoln town car and a driver. So off they went, and it was a triumph. Elegant lectures, followed by a Q&A, and eventually they became friendly, and Niels Bohr moved up into the front seat with the driver. And one night after a lecture, he said to his driver, "You know, you've heard me do this talk a dozen times, and it's basically the same every night. Wouldn't it be fun if we switched places? Nobody really knows what I look like anyway. What if I stood in the back of the auditorium as you, the driver, and you took the stage as me and delivered the lecture?" And they did that, and it was hilarious. Until one night, at a prominent university, a professor stood up and asked a very complex question. And the driver, as Niels Bohr, began to flop sweat, and the audience went hush. Oh no, she stumped the great Niels Bohr. And then he walked to the front of the stage and said, "Ma'am, that is such an easy question. My driver can answer it." I share that story with you because it embodies my hope for our graduates today. And my hope is that each one of you spend the rest of your lives becoming two people inhabiting one body, a maker and a talker. Make something and then tell everyone about it. As a maker and a talker, I've come up with 5 short bits of advice which I hope will be of use to you. Ready? Here we go. Number 1, be your own best friend. Waiting for a big break is a waste of time. There are no talent scouts. Don't plan for perfection. The heavyweight boxer Mike Tyson said, "Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth." Take the punches. You'll be okay, I promise. The problem with plans is that they rarely work. What works is work. Focus on short-term goals. Put your head down and do the task in front of you, no matter how small, with intent and purpose. Applying the same work ethic to every task will make you ready when lightning strikes, so pay attention. Because you'll find that the best things in life usually come at you from the sides, not the front. If you only aim for the stars, then you'll miss the stuff in your periphery, and that could change everything by leading you someplace you hadn't planned. If you find yourself using terms like day in and day out or rat race, then it's time to check your side view mirrors. Being perfect will make you exhausted. Being your own best friend will make you 12 feet tall and bulletproof. Number 2, be kind. I'll save you a lot of time and tell you right now that the way to be instantly happy is to help someone else. It's hard to be sad when you're being useful. You've already won the greatest lottery in the universe. You were born. Never discount the role that luck plays in life. Many of the greatest things that await you will come because you were lucky. You are a College of Charleston graduate, but you didn't get here alone. You had help. This notion is humbling because it means that you can't take full credit for your success, nor can you blame others when things go wrong. With humility comes gratitude. With gratitude comes kindness. Write fan letters. Send flowers and chocolates. Blow kisses. Smother them in kindness. The writer Maya Angelou said it best. At the end of the day, people won't remember what you said or did. They will remember how you made them feel. Number 3, send handwritten thank you notes on fine stationery. This shows you took the time to sit down and express gratitude. Your first note should be to your parents or guardians, so that they have something to hold on those pale mornings when they miss you so much, it hurts. Number 4, let the arts nourish your soul. You've worked extremely hard to be a college graduate. You've acquired all of the tools for a successful and productive life. But remember, the arts will feed your inner life. Art redeems us because it fails us. It is lifeless and incomplete. We project our vitality into it, and in return, it compensates us for life's impermanence. By magnifying its limitations, art shows us that perfection is not possible. It's the longing that matters. I'll paraphrase Winnie the Pooh, who said, his favorite thing is not getting honey, but that moment when he might get honey. You will never get everything you want, and that's a blessing. Something can only come to life when we can't have it. And last, number 5. Be astonished. Humankind's greatest invention is knowledge. Share it. What is it about your experience that might be of use to others? We've all seen a sunset, just not your sunset. Everything has been done, just not by you. The meaning of life is right in front of you. It's in the warm grass under your bare feet on a summer night. It's in the soap bubbles sliding down a baby's back into milky bathwater. All you have to do is pay attention and be astonished. You can't take someone else's breath away until it's been done to you. And here we are, not at the end, but at the beginning. The next 40 years will go by in a white-hot flash. Feel them. Success is too often confused with popularity, and you will never have enough of that. True success is curiosity and effort. You can still fail in a job you hate, so you may as well do what you love. Every major decision in life is made from either fear or love. Choose love. Make something with that love and tell the whole world about it. People who haven't even been born yet will want to know. Not what you accomplished, but what it was like to be here. Class of 2018, take our breath away. Thank you.